Well, inspecting my beehives today and coming out and making sure they had plenty of food, I discovered something not too nice. Stay tuned. Hello, folks. Welcome back to Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. I'm your host, Jerry Hansen. I come out and inspect my new bees. We set them in last week and got them settled in. And apparently, I got some bad news. The white hive, well, that queen was released from the cage okay, but they decided they didn't like the place, so they just left. That's what happens sometimes. The bees, for some reason, they leave. They did not like it there. So they found a new home somewhere else. I hope that those bees will prosper wherever they went. And it's kind of okay, but the disadvantage of it is this is the I've purchased 4 packages now, and I lost money on one. Actually, I lost money on 2 because one of my first package of bees, they just died out. Something was going on. They just died out here about a month ago or so, maybe sooner than that. There were bees there, then there weren't. But we introduced 3 more packages. I've got 2 packages that are thriving on each end, and those bees seem to be happy where they're at. I gave them comb in the frames that were already pulled out, and some of the comb had honey in them. But the one that fled, I gave them bare frames, not drawn out or anything, and I wonder if that's part of the reason why she decided she didn't like it there. So they made a decision, they left, but it might be an okay thing, because if they went far enough away and they prospered and then they grew their hive out in a hollow tree or wherever they found a home, the drones from that colony will mate with new queens as I have the bees make new queens from these colonies. Now I say that because I can split the 2 hives in about maybe a month. I'll draw some new laid brood larvae, and I'll put them upside down in each of these 2 empty boxes. And then I'll take a couple of frames of honeybees from each box and put them in there and make sure they have plenty of food, plenty of drawn out comb. And then they'll start feeding one of those upside down cups royal jelly, and then turn that into a supersedure cell or a queen cell. So they'll raise their own queen. But the problem with that is the queens aren't mated, so they have to take a mating flight. They'll go, when they're mature, they'll go out and they'll fly. And somewhere in the area, there'll be a swarm of drones from different colonies, feral and domestic drones. And they gather together in one place in a huge cloud of drones. And the queens, the unfertilized queens, will fly up into that cloud of drone bees, so many hundred of feet up in the air. And then each drone will share his DNA with the queen. A queen can be have several drones mate with her, but what happens is a drone doesn't have a stinger. In place of a stinger on a drone, it's his reproductive organs. And then what he does is he breeds with a queen, and once he breeds with a queen, he dies because his reproductive organs go and couple with the queen, and then she flies off with his reproductive organs. back to the hive. And then, of course, he has no more part of that, so he just falls dead. That's the life of a male bee. And then she'll be cleaned up and ready to either go on another flight and get some more DNA shared with her, or she'll start laying fertilized eggs, which are the honeybees. A fertilized queen will lay eggs, which become girl bees. The girl bees are your bulk of your hive. And they're the ones with the stingers, but they're the ones that work their little tails off. Actually, they work their wings off till they're nothing, and then they die. But they're the ones that go out and harvest nectar and pollen, and they also harvest sap from trees, and they use the different products in the hives. But they're the ones that draw out the comb and do all the work. And okay, in some cases, there's a certain amount of drone cells and drones that are made, and those drones their only purpose in life is to go fly out of the hive, go up and fly in a drone cloud and breed with a queen. That's their only purpose in life. In fact, the queen, or the honeybees, the worker bees, they have to feed the drones, and that's why you rarely find drones in the winter hive, because what the ladies will do is they'll push all the drones out of the hive just before winter, and then the drones will have to fend for themselves. Usually they don't, they die. So they have the honey stores for them through the winter months, for them and their queen. And then in the spring, the queen will start laying more eggs, and there'll be more honey bee eggs, and occasionally there'll be a drone egg. Now, something interesting with these little creatures is that a honeybee, she will on occasion lay eggs, a rogue honeybee. But all of a rogue honeybee, she only lays unfertilized eggs, and all unfertilized eggs develop into male bees, drone bees. So if you lose a queen in your hive and you inspect the brood and you find nothing but drone, chances are your queen has outlived her productivity, and one of the lady worker bees is now laying eggs that are not fertilized. And one of those ladies are never going to get fertilized because they weren't fed that royal jelly when they were a pupa, just before they mutated into a bee. And that was important for developing a queen that is able to reproduce fertilized eggs with a drone. Yeah, so a queen can lay eggs that are boys, but a honeybee, her daughters, they only lay unfertilized eggs, which are all drones. So that's one way to tell if you have a productive queen or your queen is completely gone, is if you have nothing but drone in there. So that's the bad news for my hives today, is I'm down to 2 hives. But it's a start. Like I said, in about a month, I'm going to go ahead and try splitting the hives, and with the 2 I have, and get these 2 populated, and it gives them the rest of the spring and summer to populate, and hopefully go into fall with 4 strong hives. I hope, but I don't think I'll be buying any more bees after this. Beekeeping is a science. It truly is. It's just not for the novice. It really isn't. Well, thank you for joining me on this episode, a little bit informative and a little bit bad news to share. I'm your host, Jerry Hansen. This is Pine Meadows Hobby Farm in the apiary. Stay tuned to new videos. I've got plenty coming. I'm doing a lot of work in the greenhouse and in the garden. And then I'll be getting some more chicks here, and my turkeys are due next week. So stay tuned for that. You could do that by subscribing and clicking that bell icon. That alerts you to the new videos as I produce them and upload them live onto the internet. Also, if you click that share button and share my videos on your social media platforms, that really helps out the channel a lot. Click that like button and leave me a comment. I will see you guys in the next episode. Take care, be safe. Bye-bye.